Hey everyone, Philip Davis here. So, you've probably heard the buzz, right? Whispers about food supply chains getting a little wobbly. And maybe you've even seen a resurgence of that awesome victory garden spirit where folks are getting their hands dirty and growing their own. It's fantastic and honestly, super empowering. There's nothing quite like eating something you've nurtured from a tiny seed. It's a feeling of accomplishment mixed with deliciousness, a pretty unbeatable combo if you ask me. But here's a thought that's been bouncing around in my head, and I bet it's crossed your mind too, especially when that first frost hits or the summer sun gets a little too intense. What if you could sidestep the whole seasonal planting rush? What if you could have fresh, delicious food growing right in your home, or just outside your door, all year round, no matter what the weather's doing or where you happen to live? Imagine plucking fresh tomatoes in January or crisp lettuce when it's snowing outside. Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, it's more science fact than you might think. That's exactly what we're diving into today. I've been experimenting, tinkering, and let's be honest, probably over-engineering a few things to bring you some seriously cool solutions. So, get ready, because I'm about to show you 6 DIY endless food machines you can build at home. These aren't just gardening tips. These are systems designed to keep your harvest going season after season, giving you that fresh-picked goodness whenever you crave it. Let's build some food security, one awesome machine at a time. Alright, first up on our list of amazing food-growing contraptions is hydroponics. Now, if you're picturing some crazy, futuristic lab setup, you're not entirely wrong. But it's also way more accessible than you might think. The basic idea is brilliantly simple. We ditch the soil. Yep, you heard me. Instead of roots digging through dirt, our plants get to chill out with their roots directly in, or periodically exposed to, nutrient-rich water. It's like a spa day for plants every single day where all their food is delivered right to their doorstep, or, well, root tip. Think about it. Soil can be a bit of a gamble. Is it the right pH? Does it have enough nitrogen? Are there any pesky soil-borne diseases lurking? Hydroponics takes a lot of that guesswork out of the equation. We become the chefs, carefully crafting the perfect nutrient cocktail for our green friends. This means we can give them exactly what they need, when they need it, leading to faster growth and sometimes even bigger yields. It's all about efficiency and control, which, if you're a bit of a science nerd like me, is incredibly satisfying. So, what kind of goodies can you grow with this magical water-based system? Leafy greens are a superstar here. Think lettuce, spinach, kale, Swiss chard. They absolutely thrive in hydroponic setups. Herbs are another fantastic choice. Imagine fresh basil, mint, or cilantro ready for snipping anytime you're cooking. Fruiting plants like tomatoes and strawberries can also do incredibly well, though they might require a bit more attention to their nutrient needs, and, depending on the variety, some support for their growth. The key is to research the specific needs of what you want to grow. One of the coolest things about many DIY hydroponic systems is their portability. You can build a compact unit that fits on a countertop, or a slightly larger one on wheels. Imagine rolling your little veggie factory into a sunny spot by the window, or tucking it away when you need the space. This is a game changer for apartment dwellers, or anyone with limited outdoor space. No digging, no heavy bags of soil to lug around, just a clean, efficient growing machine. You could even have multiple small systems, each dedicated to different types of plants. Building a basic hydroponic system can be surprisingly straightforward. We're talking containers, a small water pump, some tubing, and net pots to hold your plants. There are tons of designs out there, from simple deep water culture systems where roots are suspended in an aerated nutrient solution, to nutrient film technique where a thin stream of water flows over the roots. You can start small, learn the ropes, and then scale up or try more complex designs as you get more confident. The nutrient solution itself is a critical component. You can buy pre-mixed hydroponic nutrients specifically formulated for different types of plants, like grow formulas for leafy stages and bloom formulas for fruiting stages. These powders or liquids dissolve in water and provide all the essential macro and micronutrients your plants would normally get from soil. It's like a perfectly balanced multivitamin for your crops, ensuring they have everything they need for robust health and vigorous growth, without any of the soil-based guesswork. And let's not forget the water conservation aspect. While it might sound like using a lot of water, many hydroponic systems, especially recirculating ones, are actually incredibly water efficient. The water isn't just lost to the ground, it's reused, cycling through the system again and again. This can be a huge advantage in areas where water is scarce, or for anyone looking to make their gardening practices more sustainable. Less water, less waste, more food. That's a win-win-win in my book. Maintenance usually involves monitoring the pH and nutrient levels of your water, topping it up as needed, and cleaning the system every few weeks to prevent algae growth or salt buildup. It might sound a bit technical, but with a simple pH testing kit and an EC meter to measure nutrient strength, it quickly becomes a manageable routine. Plus, no weeding. I repeat, no weeding. If that alone doesn't sell you on trying hydroponics, I don't know what will. So, if you're looking for a clean, efficient, and highly controllable way to grow fresh produce indoors, year-round, hydroponics is definitely worth exploring. It's a fantastic blend of gardening and science, and the results can be incredibly rewarding. Get ready to impress your friends with your soil-less gardening prowess, and enjoy some of the freshest veggies you've ever tasted, grown right in your own home. It's like having a tiny, high-tech farm at your fingertips. Next up, let's talk about going up. I'm talking about vertical gardening, a brilliant way to maximize your growing space, especially if you're a bit tight on square footage. Think about it. Most traditional gardens spread out horizontally, but there's all this untapped potential in the vertical dimension. Why let all that good air and light go to waste? Vertical gardening is all about smart design and making every inch count, turning walls, fences, or even freestanding structures into productive green spaces. This method is particularly awesome for vining crops. Plants like cucumbers, pole beans, peas, certain types of squash, and even some tomato varieties are natural climbers. They want to go vertical. By giving them a trellis, a net, or some other kind of support structure, you're essentially guiding their growth upwards, which not only saves precious ground space, but can also improve air circulation around the plants, potentially reducing the risk of fungal diseases. Plus, harvesting is often easier, no more stooping and searching under leaves. One of the coolest aspects is how you can make these vertical setups movable. Imagine a trellis on wheels, or a stackable planter system that you can rearrange. During the warmer months, your vertical garden can bask in the sun on your patio or balcony. But when the temperature starts to drop, you can wheel or carry parts of your vertical oasis indoors to a sunny window or under grow lights, extending your harvest season significantly. It's like having a mobile, high-density farm. You can get really creative with DIY vertical gardening structures. Old pallets can be repurposed into fantastic vertical planters with a bit of modification and some landscape fabric. Gutters can be mounted on a wall to create shallow beds for lettuce or herbs. You can build A-frame trellises, or even use hanging baskets in a tiered arrangement. The internet is bursting with ingenious ideas, many of which use recycled or inexpensive materials. It's a great opportunity to unleash your inner engineer and build something truly unique. Think about the efficiency here. Instead of one plant taking up a square foot of ground, you could potentially have several plants growing in that same footprint, just stacked vertically. This is a game changer for urban gardeners, balcony enthusiasts, or anyone who wants to grow a surprising amount of food in a surprisingly small area. It's about working smarter, not just harder, and using design to overcome limitations. For indoor vertical setups, you'll want to consider plants that don't require massive root systems or intense direct sunlight, unless you're supplementing with grow lights, which is a great option. Herbs are perfect candidates. A vertical herb garden in your kitchen means fresh flavors are always within reach. Leafy greens like spinach or various types of lettuce can also do well. Even some smaller strawberry varieties can be grown vertically indoors, offering a delightful treat. Watering can be a bit different with vertical gardens. Gravity is your friend, but also something to manage. For stacked planters, water will drain from the top tiers to the bottom, so you need to ensure the lower plants aren't getting waterlogged. Some DIY systems incorporate drip irrigation or wicking beds to provide consistent moisture. For wall-mounted systems, you'll need to be mindful of water runoff and protect your walls. It's a solvable challenge, just requires a bit of planning. And let's not forget the aesthetic appeal. A lush green vertical garden can be a stunning visual feature, whether it's on an outdoor wall or brightening up an indoor space. It's living art that also feeds you. Imagine a wall covered in cascading strawberries or a vibrant tapestry of different herbs and lettuces. It's a far cry from a boring bare wall, and adds a touch of nature and productivity to any environment. So, if you're looking to grow more in less space, or want a flexible system that can move indoors and out, vertical gardening is your ticket. It encourages creativity, makes efficient use of resources, and can turn underutilized vertical surfaces into bountiful food-producing areas. Get ready to look up, because your next harvest might just be growing sky high. It's a fantastic way to think outside the traditional garden box, or rather, above it. Now let's get our hands, figuratively for a moment, into some amazing soil with regenerative raised beds. If you love the idea of traditional gardening but want a bit more control, portability, and supercharged soil, this is for you. Raised beds are essentially garden boxes, elevated above the ground, that you fill with your own custom soil mix. The regenerative part comes from focusing on building incredibly rich living soil that nourishes your plants and improves over time. The beauty of raised beds, especially portable ones, is that you're not stuck with whatever native soil you happen to have. If your backyard is mostly clay, sand, or just generally poor quality, no problem. You can construct or buy raised beds and fill them with a perfect blend of compost, topsoil, and other organic amendments like worm castings or well-rotted manure. This gives your plants an ideal environment to thrive from day one, with excellent drainage and aeration for healthy root growth. Think about building these beds on casters or with sturdy handles. This transforms them from stationary garden plots into movable feasts. You can chase the sun throughout the day, move them to a sheltered spot if a storm is coming, or, and this is key for our endless food machine concept, bring smaller beds indoors during winter. Imagine a compact raised bed filled with cold hardy greens sitting by a bright window or under grow lights, providing fresh salads when there's snow on the ground. Now, for indoor use, drainage can be a concern. Most outdoor raised beds have open bottoms or drainage holes to let excess water escape. If you bring a bed with drainage holes inside, you're going to have a mess. So, for indoor-specific raised beds, you might build them with a solid bottom. In this case, you'll need to be extra careful with watering and perhaps incorporate a layer of gravel or perlite at the bottom to create a small reservoir and prevent waterlogging the roots. It's like creating a mini ecosystem within the box. The regenerative aspect is all about feeding the soil, not just the plants. This means regularly adding organic matter, more compost, mulches like shredded leaves or straw, which also helps retain moisture and suppress weeds, and even cover crops in larger outdoor beds during off-seasons. This builds up a thriving community of beneficial microbes, fungi, and earthworms, which in turn make nutrients more available to your plants and improve soil structure. It's a living system that gets better and better. You can build raised beds from all sorts of materials. Untreated wood is a classic choice, but you can also use corrugated metal, bricks, cinder blocks, or even large fabric grow bags which are inherently portable. The depth is also important. For most vegetables, you'll want at least 10 to 12 inches of soil depth to give roots plenty of room to explore and grow strong. Deeper is often better, especially for root crops like carrots or potatoes if you're growing them this way. Consider the soil mix carefully. A good starting point is often a third compost, a third peat moss or coco coir for moisture retention and aeration, and a third vermiculite or perlite for drainage and lightness. But don't be afraid to experiment and find what works best for your plants and your conditions. The goal is soil that's loose, friable, drains well but holds enough moisture and is packed with organic goodness. It's the foundation of your garden's success. For those smaller, indoor-friendly raised beds, think about what you'll grow. Leafy greens like spinach, arugula, and cut-and-come-again lettuces are fantastic choices. Herbs, of course, are always a winner. You could even try some dwarf carrot varieties or radishes. The key is to match the plant to the size of the bed and the available light. It's like having a miniature, super productive garden plot right in your home. Regenerative raised beds offer a wonderful combination of control, productivity, and soil stewardship. Whether they're large fixtures in your yard building incredible soil year after year, or smaller, portable units that extend your growing season indoors, they are a fantastic way to grow a wide variety of food. You're not just building a box for plants, you're cultivating a tiny, thriving ecosystem that will reward you with bountiful harvests. It's a deeply satisfying way to connect with the earth, even if that earth is contained in a box. Alright team, let's talk about one of the simplest, most accessible, and surprisingly effective ways to create an endless food machine bucket gardening. Yes, I'm talking about good old 5-gallon buckets or any other large pots you can get your hands on. This method is the ultimate democratizer of gardening. Don't have a yard? Live in a tiny apartment with just a sliver of a balcony? No problem. If you have a spot that gets a bit of sun, you can be a bucket gardener. The genius of bucket gardening lies in its portability and self-contained nature. Each bucket is its own little gardening world. This means you can give each plant exactly the soil mix it prefers. Acid-loving blueberries in one, well-drained soil for tomatoes in another, and a rich mix for your peppers in a third. you're not limited by the general conditions of a larger garden bed. It's custom gardening, plant by plant. And talk about portability. Got an unexpected frost warning? Just pick up your buckets and bring them inside or into a sheltered garage overnight. Is one plant getting scorched while another needs more sun? Rearrange your buckets. This flexibility is incredible for maximizing your plant's happiness and extending your growing season. You can literally follow the sun across your patio or balcony throughout the day if you're really dedicated. For bucket gardening to be successful, drainage is absolutely key. Most buckets don't come with holes, so you'll need to drill several in the bottom. I usually go for about 4 to 6 half-inch holes. This allows excess water to escape, preventing your plant roots from sitting in water and rotting, which is a super common mistake for beginners. Some people even like to put a layer of gravel or broken pot shards at the bottom before adding soil. But good drainage holes are the most critical part. What can you grow in buckets? So much. Determinate or bush varieties of tomatoes are perfect. Peppers, eggplants, beans, both bush and pole if you provide a small trellis. Cucumbers, squash, potatoes, yes, you can grow potatoes in a bucket. Leafy greens, herbs, the list goes on. For larger plants like indeterminate tomatoes or vining squash, you'll want to ensure you have a sturdy staking or caging system in place right from the start. The soil you use is also important. Don't just dig up dirt from your yard, as it can compact easily in containers and may not drain well. Use a good quality potting mix or create your own blend using compost, peat moss or cocoa coir, and perlite or vermiculite. This will provide the right balance of moisture retention, drainage, and aeration that container plants need to thrive. Remember, their roots are confined, so you want to give them the best possible environment. Watering will be more frequent with bucket gardens compared to in-ground gardens, especially during hot, sunny weather, as the soil in containers dries out faster. Check the soil moisture daily by sticking your finger about an inch or two deep. If it feels dry, it's time to water thoroughly until you see water draining from the bottom holes. This ensures the entire root ball gets hydrated. Consider self-watering bucket designs too. There are some clever DIY options out there. Fertilizing is also crucial because the nutrients in the limited volume of potting soil will get depleted over time as your plants grow. You can mix in a slow-release fertilizer when you plant, and then supplement with a liquid fertilizer every few weeks depending on the needs of your plants. Think of it as giving your hardworking plants regular vitamin boosts to keep them productive and healthy. Bucket gardening isn't just for outdoors. Smaller pots and buckets can easily be brought inside for the winter, especially for herbs or compact vegetable varieties. Imagine fresh cherry tomatoes ripening on your windowsill in February. With some supplemental lighting, you can keep a surprising number of plants going through the colder months. It's all about adapting the principle to your space and needs. It's the ultimate in flexible, go-anywhere food production. Okay, for those of you ready to take your year-round growing game to the next level, let's talk greenhouses. A greenhouse is basically a structure with walls and a roof made chiefly of transparent material, like glass or plastic, in which plants requiring regulated climatic conditions are grown. It's like creating your own little microclimate, a personal slice of summer, even when it's blizzarding outside. This is where the endless food machine concept really comes into its own. You can either buy a prefabricated greenhouse kit, which come in all shapes and sizes, or if you're feeling adventurous, and I know some of you are, you can design and build your own. Building your own gives you complete control over the size, materials, and features, allowing you to tailor it perfectly to your space and needs. Think about using reclaimed windows for a rustic look, or durable polycarbonate panels for better insulation and safety. The possibilities are as varied as your imagination. One of the big considerations with a greenhouse is temperature regulation. During the day, the sun's rays pass through the transparent covering and heat up the interior. This is the greenhouse effect in action. This is great for keeping plants warm in cooler weather. However, it can also get too hot, especially in summer, so ventilation is crucial. Roof vents, side vents, and fans are essential to allow hot air to escape and bring in fresh, cooler air. For true year-round growing in colder climates, you'll likely need some form of heating. Passive heating relies on maximizing solar gain during the day and retaining that heat at night. This can be achieved through good insulation, thermal mass, like barrels of water or stone walls inside the greenhouse that absorb heat and release it slowly, and even insulated blankets to cover the greenhouse at night. It's about smart design to trap and hold on to that precious warmth. Active heating, on the other hand, involves using a heater, electric, propane, or even wood-fired, depending on your setup and local regulations. While this adds to the running costs, It gives you much more precise control over the temperature, allowing you to grow a wider variety of plants, including more sensitive tropicals, throughout the harshest winters. You're essentially creating a stable, warm environment no matter what Mother Nature throws at you. Now let's talk about some really cool greenhouse variations. Have you ever heard of an underground greenhouse, sometimes called a wallapini or pit greenhouse? These are dug several feet into the ground using the Earth's natural, stable temperature to help keep the greenhouse warmer in winter and cooler in summer. It's an ancient technique that's incredibly energy efficient. The north wall is often solid and insulated, sometimes even built into a hillside, while the south-facing roof is angled to capture maximum sunlight. Then there's the Amish-style greenhouse, often characterized by its simple, robust construction and efficient design. They often focus on functionality and durability, using practical materials and techniques honed over generations. These can be a great source of inspiration for DIY builders looking for a no-nonsense, effective structure. They understand the principles of passive solar design and natural ventilation deeply. Inside your greenhouse you can employ any of the other gardening methods we've discussed: raised beds, containers, hydroponics, vertical systems. The greenhouse simply provides the controlled environment. Imagine rows of hydroponic lettuce, vertical towers of strawberries, and raised beds full of tomatoes, all thriving under one roof, protected from pests, harsh weather, and seasonal limitations. It's your personal, all-season agricultural research station. A greenhouse is a significant investment of time and money, but the rewards can be immense. The ability to extend your growing season indefinitely, to grow crops that wouldn't normally survive in your climate, and to have a dedicated, protected space for your gardening passion is truly something special. It's more than just a structure, it's a gateway to year-round fresh food, and a deeper connection with the growing process. It's your own little botanical biodome. Alright, our final endless food machine isn't so much a physical machine, but a brilliant or strategy succession planting. This is the art and science of planting small batches of fast-growing crops continuously, in cycles, so that as one batch is ready for harvest, another is just starting to mature, and another is just being sown. It's like setting up a conveyor belt of freshness, ensuring you have a steady supply, rather than one giant glut of produce all at once. The magic of succession planting is that it maximizes both your space and your time. Instead of planting your entire bed of lettuce in April and having it all mature in June, you plant a small row every 1 to 2 weeks. This way you get a continuous supply of fresh lettuce from late spring right through summer and even into fall, depending on your climate and the varieties you choose. No more wondering what to do with 20 heads of lettuce before they bolt. This technique works best with crops that have a relatively short maturity time. Think leafy greens, like lettuce, spinach, arugula, radishes, baby carrots, bush beans, and some herbs like cilantro and dill, which tend to bolt quickly in heat. By staggering your plantings, you're always just a week or two away from your next delicious harvest of these quick-growing favorites. It's all about smart scheduling and understanding your plant's growth cycles. To get started, you'll need to know the days to maturity for the specific varieties you're planting. This information is usually right there on the seed packet. If a lettuce variety takes 45 days to mature, and you want a new batch ready every week, you'd sow a new small planting about every 7 to 10 days. You can keep a simple planting calendar, or a note in a garden journal, to track your sowing dates and projected harvest times. It sounds a bit like project management for your garden, and in a way, it is. You don't need a huge amount of space for each individual planting. A short row, a small block, or even a few containers dedicated to each succession can be enough. As you harvest one section, that space then becomes available for the succession planting, or for a different quick-growing crop. This continuous rotation also helps to keep the soil healthy, and can even confuse some pests. It's an incredibly efficient use of your garden real estate. Consider the seasons when planning your successions. For example, you might plant cool weather crops like spinach and radishes in early spring, switch to heat-tolerant varieties of lettuce and beans in the summer, and then go back to cool weather crops for a fall harvest. Some crops, like kale, can even tolerate a bit of frost and taste sweeter after a cold snap, extending your harvest well into the late fall or even early winter in milder climates. Another trick is to use transplants for some crops. While you're waiting for one batch of direct-sown seeds to mature, you can start the next batch of seedlings indoors or in a protected cold frame. Then, as soon as space opens up, you can pop in these already started plants, giving them a head start and shaving valuable time off the next harvest cycle. This is especially useful for crops that are a bit slower to germinate or establish. Don't be afraid to experiment. Keep records of what you planted, when you planted it, and when you harvested. Note which varieties performed best for succession planting in your specific conditions. Over time, you'll develop a rhythm and a feel for what works in your garden and for your family's needs. It's a learning process, but a delicious one. You become the conductor of your garden orchestra, ensuring a continuous symphony of flavors. Succession planting is a game changer for anyone who wants a consistent supply of fresh vegetables without being overwhelmed by a single massive harvest. It's a simple, yet powerful technique that transforms your garden from a short-term project into a long-term, continuously producing food source. Combine this with some of the other machines we've talked about, and you're well on your way to food independence, one small, regular harvest at a time. So there you have it, 6 incredible DIY endless food machines that can transform the way you grow and think about food. From the high-tech efficiency of hydroponics and the space-saving brilliance of vertical gardens, to the soil-nurturing power of regenerative raised beds, the simple portability of bucket gardening, the climate control of a greenhouse, and the continuous bounty of succession planting. There's a solution here for everyone, no matter your space or skill level. These aren't just abstract concepts, these are practical, buildable systems. The real magic happens when you start to combine these methods. Imagine using succession planting your DIY greenhouse or setting up a compact hydroponic system on a shelf above your regenerative raised bed that you've wheeled indoors for the winter. By layering these techniques, you can create a truly resilient and incredibly productive home food system. You'll always have something fresh growing, something new to harvest, no matter the season or what the weather report says. It's about building food security and enjoying the unparalleled taste of homegrown goodness 365 days a year. Now I'm super curious, which of these endless food machines are you most excited to try first? Are you ready to dive into soilless growing, or is building that dream greenhouse calling your name? Let us know your plans and ideas down in the comments below. I love hearing what you all are working on. And hey, if you found this helpful and want more DIY solutions for a more self-sufficient and awesome life, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Thanks for watching and happy growing.